This is such an honor. Before I really get started, I'd like to introduce y'all to some people that's very special to me. Hopefully I can do this without crying all the way through it. I'd like to start with my aunt who flew here from Orlando, Florida to be with me today. My daughter Angie and her husband Richard Thorpe, please stand. If y'all just hold your applause to the end would be great. They run our janitorial supply company, NLS. Candy Russell, she's a controller of some of my companies. Her son, Eli, my grandson, my daughter, Shelly Russell, Kinser, and she manages my real estate properties, and her son, my grandson, Zeke. Shelly's claim to fame is her twin brother, Eddie Russell. Eddie is the president of ERMC, and with him today is his assistant, his lovely wife, and my daughter-in-law, Elisa Russell. My youngest daughter was unable to be here today, but she ran our, Catherine Demuse, she ran our uniform business. My oldest sister, she's unable to be here today because she has the flu. My youngest sister, Charlotte, and Greg Vandergriff, my brother-in-law, are here today. Thank y'all. And I would love for all of the ERMC employees to please stand and remain standing also, rather than calling everybody's name. Please stand. And then I have two very special people with me today, Herschel and Joanne Schroeder. I went to work with Herschel when I was 8 years old. He doesn't look as old as me, but he's considerably older than I. And Herschel didn't know this, but he's probably one of the main influences of my entrepreneurial experiences. Thank you. At a very early age, if my daddy had known this, he would have beat me to death and made me quit working. But at a very early age, he would buy me a double cola 16-ounce soda if I'd run across the street and buy his beer for him every day after work. So I learned at 8 years old how to make money. Let's give all of them a hand. You know, I reserved 4 tables for ERMC, but looking over this crowd, I could have reserved every table in here. Thank you. You know, I'm very honored to receive such a prestigious award. And, you know, to be among the people that has received this is even a greater honor, because we've got some fantastic people that has received this award in the past. And there's many of you in this room that are much more deserving of that award than I. And I appreciate each and every one of you for what you do for our community every day. You know, as an entrepreneur, there's so many things that we do that's sort of different from everybody else, but you know, we try to create jobs, try to do something different that sets us apart from everybody else. I'm sorry. Entrepreneurs are visionaries, they're risk takers, they think outside the box, and they're creators. They understand the importance. I'm going to have to try to read this because I'm mentally so tore up I can't. The importance of what's worth chasing. They prioritize what's more important, happiness now or happiness in the future. Being an entrepreneur is continual learning and training. And here are just a few things that I've learned along the way. Never forget where you came from. You know, you learn by listening to others and learning from them no matter what their stature is. You should always keep an attitude of service. I never ask an employee to do anything that one, I either haven't done or wouldn't do. Like Muhammad Ali said once, service to others is the rent you pay for the room that you have here on earth. I believe that. You must believe in yourself and what you're doing to get other people to believe in you. You become an expert, supposedly, in every field. But the key to that is making sure that you've got experts in each field that really know what they're doing. People ask me all the time, you know, how to start a new business, and I tell them, you know, you've got to know what you're wanting to do, and then you've got to get the right people around you to make sure that you give them the proper tools, the proper training, the proper support, and the overall oversight management of those people. And if you do all of those things, that it will happen. It will be a success. It's easy to resist change, but as an entrepreneur, you must accept and embrace change. A famous quote I like regarding change is, change is the changeable. Accept the unchangeable and remove yourself from the unacceptable. You constantly prepare others to carry on your vision, hoping that they will carry on your torch, and passing that torch on to either a family member or a co-worker or both. And then put your trust in them and help them to be properly prepared to do that. You must make sure to recognize employees for a job well done. And you've got to make them feel like they have ownership in what they're doing. And I try to do that with all my employees. A good example of that is Jeff Brewer, our Vice President of Business Development. I went into his office one day. I carried him a single sheet of paper. I said, Jeff, I want you to get this business started. Here's my notes, here's my contact information, and this is my vision. That was in September of 2012. Today, it's a waste management company. It's a little over $30 million in business today. Jeff is very proud of that company. Thank you, Jeff. Mentoring others is one of the most rewarding parts of being an entrepreneur. During my lifetime, I've had many people to come to me, like I said a while ago, how do you start a business? And you know, it's great fulfillment to be able to help other people to succeed and to guide them to where that hopefully they don't make a lot of the same mistakes that you have made, and to give them some of the lifelong lessons that you have learned. As an entrepreneur, there's great satisfaction in seeing the jobs you've created and the lives that you have touched and the changes that you have made along life's way. People ask me all the time, Emerson, why do you do what you do? Why do you work like that? Why do you put the hours in that you do? My answer to them is always this: it's not the money, it's the deal. And it's making the deal work, not just for me, but for everybody involved in the deal. In closing, I'd like to leave you with this. As most of you know, my dad was a Church of God preacher, and he told a story many years ago when I was just a kid about a country preacher went to church one morning, had his little 6-year-old boy with him, and as they walked into the vestibule, he pulled a quarter out of his pocket, put it in the offering box, went in, preached his heart out. After the sermon, after church was over, they left. On the way out the door, the preacher opened the box, took his quarter out. The little boy looked up at him and said, Dad, if you'd have put more in, you'd have got more out. That's true in every walk of life and everything that we do, whether it be in our home life, our religious faith, or at work. The more we put in, the more we get out. Thank you all very much for being here. I love each and every one of you. Thank you. One thing that I wanted to say, you know, David didn't tell you the real truth of the matter. He's my uncle by marriage. He's ashamed of it.
I'm glad the truth's out.
Thank y'all.
All right, everybody, please be seated as we close the